Come along with me while I tell you the tale of two friends that lived in the same poor, rundown town who got tired and not being able to afford these $500 pair of double Ralph Lauren jeans. It all started with $1 and a dream. Welcome to another Life Lessons.
Hey, what you laughing at, man? You need to put your man on. He look bad. Tell that nigga to hit you with an ounce of something or something.
Now, as a real quick disclaimer, the reason why I chose the movie Paid in Full to kind of simulate the story of these two friends is because there are similarities. While the two friends never graduated to Coke, because that's what this, Paid in Full is basically based off of, they did keep in the realm of hustling. And it all starts out with a guy who was working full time, and he had a friend that was basically had it all. He had everything that he wanted. He had the nice clothes, he had the nice car, he had a system in it. Like, he just had what he wanted. And when you grow up in a hood or in a projects or just in a rough neighborhood, there's always that one person, that one hustler that has everything, and you're just like, man, I want that. When he moved to a smaller town, thinking that if he moved to a smaller town, he could still get a full-time job, still help provide for his moms and his sister and his brother, because the father, walked out. So the older brother decided time job and, try to help out. And he did to a certain extent, but he just wanted to be fly. He wanted to have everything that he couldn't, because that is the American dream. I don't care what you say. I don't care how much people say that they're content with something. There's always something more that they want, because that's just human nature. We all want something more. Some of us would do whatever it takes to get it, whether that's bagging up, whether that is, going out and being a stick-up kid or being a real dope boy or anything like that. What they want, they're gonna get. And, even back in the days, in New York, they had a crew that used to rob stores, Polo stores and Macy's and Filene's and all these different things. They were just crazy. They were called the low lives. And basically anything polo sport, anything like that, it was the American dream in this guy's neighborhood. Just being down on his luck and realizing that he couldn't have what he wanted, he had a friend who had a connection. And being in this small town, he saw that one of the guys, one of the dealers, because in this small town, everybody loved weed and acid and coke. Those were like the three main things that everybody wanted. Back then in the 90s, weed was taboo. If you were selling weed, it was like if you got caught, you were doing some hard jail time. Whereas now you can go to the corner store and get chewables and, gummies and all this stuff laced with THC and just have a grand old time getting high. But back then it wasn't obtainable like that. The person that was standing on the street corner was the person that you went to go see. That was your dispensary. So when he's seen the local dealer get arrested and get taken away, he just seen an opportunity, and he already had a connect. So he went to his other friend who was down on his luck, and he was like, how much money you got to scrape together? And the dude was like, I got a couple hundred that I could probably scrape together. He fed him this dream of, let's get this money. This dude just got locked up. We'll do it differently. We're gonna take this shit over. And when they did that, they got the shittiest weed that they could find, and basically tried to get more of a bulk. Even though the weed was shitty, they figured if they make the bags bigger than, any other local competition, then the customers would come back to them, because in that world where you only have $10, would you rather spend $10 on something that's this fat or something that's this fat? So it really comes down to that. They started making their bags bigger and fatter and slowly started getting enough money to re up and go and get bigger and better things. Well, one of the guys was like, hey, I know somebody that lives in another state. He's getting some stuff that's really potent. And the guy was like, all right, let's put all of our money in one pot. Let's do this. They go and they get a quarter pound. They bring it back to that small town. And before you know it, they're realizing that that weed is so strong that they're getting, for what you would get for a nick bag, they're charging 20. What you would get for a dime bag, they're charging 45. So they started to realize that they could capitalize off of the getting the better weed, giving people a stronger and longer high. They could make more money if they just keep, re-upping, and every time they go and re-up, get a little bit more, get a little bit more. They kept building up and they started to get runners. They started to get people that would hand out the weed for them. In exchange, a lot of these guys that was working for these two dudes, all they wanted to do was just smoke the weed. So they would give them a little bit of weed to smoke, and they would bag up and distribute for them. And they were taking over the surrounding towns. Next thing you know, they were a buzzworthy feed. Well, sooner or later, you started getting people that you don't know coming around. And that's where things get tricky. It's, I don't know this guy. He knows me. He shouldn't know me. But then again, he should, because you're the local supplier. And you're thinking in your head, can I trust this dude? Because hustling is really based off of your instinct. If you don't have that instinct to hustle, you won't last in this game. There was this one particular day where they were just like, I'm gonna go hang out with somebody else, and this one's gonna go do something else, because, being together every day was kind of being and they wanted to just do separate things. So, one of them dudes walking down the street, and I hear, boom, he gets stuck up. Gets a gun drawn on him, and the dude says, give him the money. And to him, it was, he ain't got nothing on him as far as like guns go. He's got a knife. What's that gonna do? Remember, had it, dude gave him the money, and the dude ran off. And he don't even know if the gun was fake or not. All he knew was he felt something on the back of his head, and boom, that was it. Like, all you start to see is, when you're in a situation like that, is your life flashing before your eyes. You don't see, I'm gonna be this hardcore thug, especially, this isn't a kung fu movie where you grab the guy and turn around. So, on the other hand, what he didn't know is that his other partner is getting jumped. So, this was an entire plotted out, what seemed like plan. Well, they kind of went back, and one's beat up, the other one's still shooken up, and they said, yo, we gotta figure something out. And now we're getting hot. Everybody knows we got money. We're being too flashy, because when you grow up in the hood, the first thing you want to do, I don't care who you are, if real hustlers are watching this, they'll understand what I'm about to say. The first thing you do is you gotta be flashy. You gotta be decked out. It's just head to toe. Everything's gotta be name brand, no bootleg shit at all. And that's what happens. But then you start to get the hate, the jealousy, the envy, and everything that comes with the territory. And then one day, a girl comes up, teenager, and she's like, hey, let me get this bag. And he's a teenager, so he's like, hey, you smoke, I smoke, whatever. Do you want to match? And the girl's like, nope, just want to grab my weed and be on my way. Well, come to find out that that girl was a cop's niece in this small town. Next thing you know, these two dudes are chilling in his homeboy's car, and cops come running in. Bow. They get him out the car. They search the car, and nothing is found. They were just a little bit smarter, and they didn't carry stuff around like that. It's the reason why you have runners, so you don't really have to, distribute much. You have people doing it for you. After all that was said and done, the cops took off, and they basically said, we know what you're doing, and we're gonna get you. And after that, they started to compile a plan on what they want to do. And what the other guy wasn't realizing, the partner, is that the guy, the original main character, he wanted more because when you start getting money, the first thing you do when you get money is you want more money. So that means you have to expand and rise up and start selling something harder, something that's going to make money quicker. And in that time, in that town, it was all about coke and acid. That guy was thinking about going back to his home city that was only about an hour away to go and get from his boy that he knew that was big time into that game and bring it back and start bagging and start selling that on the side, not telling his partner because he didn't want his partner to know that he was going to try it out first. To make a long story short, those two dudes, well, to have a twist, one of them is me. I'm the main dude, and I used to do that. I wanted more. The funny thing about this movie, Paid in Full, is that at the end of the day, he smartened up. The main character smartened up. It's just one of those things where I really wanted to start hustling coke and I really wanted more money because I thought that I could do it and that I'd be the next big kingpin. I was going to be the one copping bricks and all that stuff. And because, like I said, I grew up in the ghetto, so I seen these guys like rolling up in Benzes, Beamers, Cadillacs, Lincolns. It was just like, damn, like I want that. Being such a young age and your mind is so easily influenced that you want more and you think in your head, if they can do it, I can do it. And at first it was great because, like I said, in the original, when that guy in that small town got arrested, I seen what he was doing wrong. And then in the long run, I'm thinking me and my partner, we can hustle better than he did. And it didn't work out like that. We got to the point where we started being too greedy and we started just distributing to everybody. Now, I know you guys are probably going to look at me differently, but that's not who I am today because in this game, there's only 3 ways out of hustling. And that's just the way that the game goes. And the 3 ways out are prison, death, or you smarten up. And you realize at the end of the day, while I may not have that now, in the future, I'm going to have that. And even if full-time job isn't making it, there are plenty of other jobs out there and you got to try to expand your ability to work. And if you want something, you got to work harder for it. And I know that in the mind of somebody young, that's very hard to understand. But me being in my 40s, I have realized that everything that I wanted back then means absolutely nothing now. What means everything to me now is good health, my family being okay, and providing the roof over, me and my wife. We sit there and we work hard for everything that we have. And I know to some people, they're just like, nah, I'm a real hustler. I don't care about that. You got robbed. You're the one that's a bitch. You didn't do nothing about it. Well, the sad reality is I could have done something about it. I had goons ready to come driving right down and I would have wiped out damn near half that town. But what's the point? What I'm saying to you now is a definite life lesson because being a hustler, there is no payoff. Sure, at the time, like I said, I was going out with my buddy all the time. That we didn't even eat at home. We were just going out every single night, going somewhere else, Olive Garden, all these different places. And to us, it wasn't nothing. We were going to the mall, we were going into these stores and just buying $500 pair of jeans and I wasn't caring. It was nothing to me. Money was nothing. And now I look at it as, I wonder if I would have started school earlier, if I would have never stepped into that life and just tried to get through the struggle, which I will tell you, going through the struggle later on in life makes you a more humble person, that you will have what you want in the future. But trying to get it now and taking that risk of those two things, the two major things, death or prison, because that's the only way that you're going to go into this game. There is no such thing as a long time drug dealing hustler. Look at Frank Lucas, look at Bumpy Johnson, look at Whitey Bulger. I mean, there's so many different hustlers, and I know you hear it in rap music. I get that. But if you really listen to what these rappers are saying, they're telling you the bad to the game. Sure, they're glorifying the, what is, the great outcome of it, because I experienced a little taste of it. And that's why I was thinking about upgrading from a weed dealer to a dope boy. But once I heard that cop tell me, I'm going to get you, the craziest part is that prison scared me more than death. And I know that's the craziest shit to say, but my uncle, who has been in and out of jail since he was 15, just didn't know any other lifestyle. I'll tell you a quick side story. When I went to go visit my uncle one time in prison, my mom took me to go visit him. And when I came in there, I was only 10 years old or 11 years old, something like that. And I remember my uncle saying that this is no place for you. He goes, and if I ever see you in here, he's like, you see that guy over there? So mind you, I'm 10, 11 years old. I look over, I see the guy blows a kiss at me. And he goes, that's the guy that'll be your girlfriend.
Message!
At 10, 11 years old, scared the shit out of me. So I just was like, I ain't never going to prison. I ain't never going to jail. And if it wasn't for me taking that warning and my partner, because I'm not going to say his name or any other name, but the way I look at it is, if that cop never said that he was going to get us, that he was going to get me in particular, but he was going to get us, I don't think I'd be here today. I don't think I'd be doing this YouTube channel and bringing you things like this and being real and honest and upfront with you. I probably would have been deader, because, like I said, I was ready to graduate. I wanted to make more money. I wanted that, I wanted the newest Lexus, crazy, rimmed out, systemed out. But instead, I ended up just putting myself through school, and I'm now in a career that I love. I've been doing it for a very long time. So I hope that my story has inspired somebody to think twice before they go selling pills or selling their medication or any of that stuff, because in the long run, it is not worth it. Put yourself through school. Yes, you might drown yourself in a little bit of debt, but at the end of the day, you will prosper more because you will have a longer life than if you tried to be in this D game or the pill game or the whatever game. So I hope that my story can bring some kind of light to somebody. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you on the next one.
Thank you. You love me. You